see if JDG and Gen G do go down those routes. Orianna getting banned out by JDG as the first ban in this Champion Select powered by Omen and HyperX, with Jarvan and Karma being removed by Gen G.
Yunara is, of course, another AD carry that we're keeping our eyes on, but something we heard the desk talking about is Junjia. Often they like to facilitate him with junglers that can do stuff. Vi, Xin Zhao, Jarvan, wanting to remove that Jarvan from the pool already. I wouldn't say it makes Rumble weaker, but it does, that combo is already taken off the table, and it does suggest that Gen G perhaps have other priorities. Of course, Keen, I mean, what is he not known for at this point?
He's so good.
Because Keen Sante is probably what most of them have known him for internationally, but the man can play pretty much any champion. He continues to be, I mean, comfortably the best top laner in the world. We'll see what that priority is coming into game one with the Vi. Again, a lot of focus going towards Junjia, kind of as we expected.
A lot of focus going towards the jungle as well. I think for JDG, getting Junjia into a position where he can have a really solid early game is one of their key win conditions here. Last year, I would say, yeah, that perhaps is a weakness for Gen G. Canyon has struggled to have as much impact through the game as the rest of Gen G. However, this year, Canyon once again has leveled up and continues to be an incredible performer for the team. So with Orianna and Ryze banned away, will JDG continue to pick away at Chovy's pool? No, instead it will be Varus taken away from Ruler.
So the Rumble is available, Yunara is up as well. They could also look at prioritizing Ahri or Taliyah for Chovy if they want to. I mean, I think Ahri blind is a little bit risky, especially this early on in the Fearless draft. What will they be contemplating? Seems like the Rumble is going to be the easy choice. So we did talk about it with the Jarvan gone. That hot pot combo is not going to be available, but not too much concern with regards to that, just because Rumble is such a dominant top lane force and how much value he brings in the team fight.
It's still just a money printer as well. You go first strike on this Rumble into something like a tank coming out from Xiaoshu, and you're in such a strong position. I think it's Keen's one of his most played as well. Rumble and Gwen, I remember being at the top of his charts for this first split. JDG immediately going to go down that Seraphine route. Often see this teamed up with the Ashe in the bot lane for a very oppressive 2v2.
Yeah, it's not too uncommon for JDG to have this type of pairing, provide a little bit more stability and strong bot side. Interesting that they've chosen to lock in the Seraphine alongside the Xin Zhao, but not get the Ashe. They want to take that Xin Zhao away. We talked about it. Junjia's three most played, Vi, Xin, and Jarvan. With both the Vi and the Jarvan taken away, just grab yourself the Xin Zhao. Make sure that you have that comfort coming into game one. Have that easy initiate tool with some reliable follow-up coming through from the Seraphine.
And that's the thing, you can encore on top of a Crescent guarding Xin Zhao to try and get it further into the enemy backline, right? And it allows Junjia just a little bit more safety as he does dive in. Pantheon going to be the lock here for Canyon. Very strong, aggressive, early game jungler that can also have a lot of impact in the side lanes. If things devolve into a 1-3-1 or develop into a 1-3-1, the Grand Starfield gives you so much pressure in those side lanes.
Absolutely. Canyon, we'll see how much of an impact he can have in the early game. Right now, you'd expect something like an Ahri to come through. Some combination. I mean, Taliyah Pantheon is a tried and true combo, but given that they've seen the Seraphine, they've made a bit of a pivot. Instead, they're going to prioritize the Bard. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense in the context of, I mean, you'll get bullied out in the early laning phase, assuming that the Ashe does come through alongside this Seraphine. But later on into the game, the roam impact that it has, especially paired alongside the Jarvan, the cross-map plays that you can potentially make, the long-range engages you're going to have access to, a very versatile support. JDG hovering over the Jinx right now.
Looks like they might be going towards an Ezreal instead. A little bit more poke coming out from Gala here. It is very comfortable on the Ezreal, of course.
I am wondering if the Seraphine could be mid lane, Medic. Yeah, I mean, we rarely talk about it just because we so often see it in the support position, but JDG are leaving it open for a flex pick. And we'll see what direction they end up going, because right now, I mean, the Karma's already banned away, which is something you'd often pair alongside the Ezreal. So perhaps Gala and Vampire are looking to play the Ezreal-Seraphine bot lane combo, which is a little bit surprising.
What it does do is give you a little bit more range than the Ashe Seraphine into something like a Bard that can walk up and try and harass you down.
Sure.
But I agree with you, it's not commonplace.
Yeah, mainly because the core combo is that Seraphine's E, her root.
Yeah.
If the target is slowed, then it roots, and if the target is root, then they stun, right? and so Ashe provides the slow, so you almost always get a root. And if you have the passive stack so that she gets the double, you can then set up a stun, for example. So that's why Ashe Seraphine specifically is such an effective combo, which Ezreal doesn't really provide that same synergy. He does provide decent poke and range, which perhaps he's concerned about with the amount of engage that Gen G have drafted for themselves so far. But we'll have to wait and see. Of course, still 2 picks remaining. The Civ are going to be banned away from Ruler, so that late game insurance going to be denied. Galio on the side of Gen G going to be taken away means that I mean, my instincts immediately go towards something like an Akali. Looking at this composition could be very open.
Instincts always go to
Akali.
But
I mean, Galio naturally a good counter into the Akali. Also things like Orianna he's quite good into. If you're banning away the Galio, or perhaps they're just worried about Xin plus Galio as a combo as well. But I'm also trying to think, like, what could Chovy be thinking about that he's worried that doesn't want to go into the Galio as well?
Something that Galio does do is react well to sideline pressure. So if you are using this Pantheon in sort of a split position, then Galio's ability to hero's entrance onto a side lane could be something that Gen G want to avoid. Things like the Talia still available as well for Gen G if they do want to look for some of that map movement with Cassante and Galio banned away, and Jhin and Sivir. We'll see where JDG want to go for their next pick.
I mean, is it just a Sion in top lane? No, it's looking like an Aurora top lane. Okay, JDG want to fight fire with fire. We've seen Aurora as an answer into the Rumble a number of times. It is something that basically can just bully the Rumble out. Aurora loves short-range matchups. She's relatively short-range herself, but in the laning phase, the fact that her auto-attacks help stack her passive, combined with the fact that you can just bully out your opponents relying on both the Q, the E, and the autos, and then if Rumble tries to approach you, use the E to create that space, apply the slow. It can be a very tough matchup for the Rumble to play during the early laning phase.
Also still gives you a little bit of flexibility if you want to move that to the mid lane. If you see a good matchup in mid, you can bring that Aurora in there and then pick something into the Rumble as your final pick here on the blue side. Caitlyn locked in for Gen G. They are looking for push in that bot lane, trying to match the Ezreal Karma with a lot of range and a lot of damage. And perhaps with the threat of Pantheon being down there early doors, just to try and get Ruler really accelerated on this pick.
Yeah, from what I can tell, this looks to be Ruler's first Caitlyn of the year. So looking forward to seeing him bring that one out. Twisted Fate being hovered for Chovy. I mean, we talked a lot about Talia's potential side lanes. Of course, Ryze is banned, but a champion that can also rotate effectively. TF just fits the marker in the same way. Pantheon, TF, the single target CC that's coming through from Gen G. The point and click is ruthless. Cleanse has a lot of value for Gala in this game, that's for sure. Don't be surprised to see the Mikhails come through. Right now we are hovering the Ornn, so we discussed at length the potential flexibility. Will we get to see the Seraphine in the mid lane? Will we get to see Aurora top lane? Looks like none of that's going to come through, as the Ornn will be the final lock-in. That big tanky option in the top side to respond into the Rumble. I mean, it's going to be safe. The first strike Rumble that we often see is an answer into it to just keep farming up those stacks. But JDG, they've got a lot of team fighting options available to them. A lot of wombo combo, a decent amount of range, some solid poke. Whereas Gen G, a lot more pick potential, a lot more side lane threat, looking to try and catch you off guard with decent range and poke of their own. Especially if TF is going to go for the RFC. Think about Caitlyn with a potential headshot combined with the TF. The opportunity to just chunk someone out before the fight even starts is very, very scary to have to deal with.
I think that's one of the risks really here for JDG. Gen G are so good at playing the map, at finding advantages in the early game, and then pulling you around the map, taking things on the other side while you're trying to take a 3v4 trade somewhere. I think it's going to be really difficult for JDG to get to that team fight position, but if they do, their composition works really well. They have a good front line, they have some strong damage, and then a lot of CC with the Encore coming on top of it. For Gen G, not that many tanks. If they do start to fall behind, they are a relatively squishy team here. Pantheon obviously does have the Aegis Assault, but otherwise, you don't really have anyone that can tank up damage coming out from JDG.
Absolutely. I mean, I think if JDG just get that established front to back, they're happy.
Yeah.
They don't want flanks. They don't want Pantheon doing Pantheon things. They want to control the early game side lanes. And if they can do that and get to these team fights, then I have confidence that they can find good fights. But then, of course, the next challenge comes from, hey, when you're playing against 5 of the best players in the world,
on champions that like to fight.
It's going to be a tricky challenge. Like, make no mistake, JDG are not the favorites coming into this matchup. Gen G, let's see what they've got here for their first matchup on at first stand.
Let's jump onto the Rift. The LPL #2 seed, JDG, taking on the LCK's champions elect here, Gen G. As you said, I think it's really about whether JDG can stop some of the pressure coming out from these flanks, from these picks, out of Chovy with the Destiny, out of the Grand Starfall with Canyon. I want to keep my eyes on the junglers early on because it does look like both junglers going to start on the top side of the map. And we'll see some plays down towards that bottom lane.
Okay, so I'm keeping my eyes on the junglers especially, as you were just talking about. It seems like bot lane is going to be the direction. And when I'm thinking about Caitlyn, like the main reason you pick Caitlyn is so that you can feel comfortable in this bot lane 2 versus 2, right? So you have that extra bit of range against the sheer amount of poke. Bard, as you know very well, doesn't really have much of a laning phase. Like, he basically only has 2 skills. So we'll see how things pan out as they get into the 2v2.
Live on patch 26.06, you can check out Warhound Senna. A portion of all these skins proceeds will be shared across the LoL Esports teams, so make sure you grab it while you can. As you say, like, Bard can have a bit of a laning phase if he is able to, like, play into a melee support or something. You get the electrocute procs off really easily. Here, kind of been trying to neutralize Vampire and Gala, who can step up in the lane. Vampire having a great time on Enchanters so far, and JDG having a great time back at first stand. It's been 2 years since we've seen this team internationally, Betty.
Last 3 now, we're at 2026, mate.
Oh, dear, yes. It was Worlds 23, though, so 2 years, 6 months we'll go with. There's a tragic ending for the Golden Road as Duro almost meets a tragic end in the bot lane as Vampire and Gala do catch him out. Good tilt over Peacemaker back from Ruler, puts the damage down onto Vampire.
But yeah, I mean, shout out to Nightmare, who's given me a lot of information as well heading into this tournament surrounding JDG. And like, this roster's gone through so many iterations. They've tried a plethora of different coaches. They've tried a plethora of different players. They've tried so many different things to return back to success. And this roster is the one that's been able to do it. And Junjia is the one looking to make things happen in the early game.
Skip Junjia looking for that early pressure, finds it. First blood over to JDG.
I mean, the timing worked out beautifully. The fact that both junglers were pathing towards bot, he skips a camp, Chovy now getting very low.
Killing Chovy? Chovy has to flash the win, and red card came out, Hongkyu wins, it flashes in! Hongkyu finds the solo in the mid lane!
Hongkyu, this man shows up internationally, man! He's continued his level of success just like we saw from him last year. He became a player that everyone had their eyes on at his debut, at first stand from last year, saying this guy could be good. And he's continuing to demonstrate that. What an impressive way to start this game off. 2-0 for JDG.
And it's the 2 new players coming into JDG. Yes, they obviously some of the other players are new as well. Xiaoshu, the only one remaining from last year. But Junjia and Hongkyu brought over from the Flying Oysters last year after having such a performance through all the international tournaments for the LCP representatives. Now popping off in the first international of 2026.
Yeah, and speaking of Namera, he was telling me his expectations were very much like, he expected them to be good, but not this quickly, right? And the thing that we know about these 2 players specifically is when they are on an international stage, they show up.
Journey, almost takes them out. Gala with the lethal tempo. Junjia looking for a gank on the top side as Ruler tries to trade back. Keen going forward, doesn't really have anywhere to get out of this. Overheats and is taken out. Junjia cooks him. 3-0 JDG.
Junjia is making his presence felt here in the early game. He is snowballing like a madman, and he is making things happen for his team. Impressive stuff coming out from JDG here in the early game. I mean, our expectations were that Canyon would be the one driving things in this early path, but we're going to take a quick look back at this gank in the top side. I mean, there's very little to say, to be completely honest with you. He applies the brittle, the knockback in conjunction with the damage from Junjia is enough to secure that kill. I was hoping we'd get a replay of the solo kill in mid lane just to demonstrate once again how well Hongkyu played that. Putting that pressure down, how lane dominant this champion can be. But Twisted Fate, kind of an annoying champion, still has a gold lead.
Hongkyu and Junjia coming over from CFO, having a great time so far in the LPL and now here at first stand. These guys together, 3 LCP championships in a row.
Absolutely. I mean, these guys were super dominant domestically. They really ran the region. And for them to have this opportunity, I mean, Junjia, no stranger to the LPL, of course. Formerly played for EDG in the past. Was part of that World Championship run, of course, as a substitute. But now he's really making a name for himself here alongside JDG. And for them to start this series off with such confident levels of play, it's great to see. But the thing is, getting a lead is just a start against Gen.G. Gen.G have fallen behind before, but there's a reason why so far this year they've only lost 2 games.
Yeah.
Games.
Not even series, just games.
Yeah, can they bring it across the finish line? We're only 6 minutes in, Dragon is up. And Honku wants to protect his ward, but Canyon's going to be able to secure it. They're in a great position right now to start this objective. Really good control over this river. As it looks like Gen.G is going to be forced back, but Canyon is still hovering around the area.
It's a battle over the crab, right? If you get this crab, you get level 6. Canyon looking to see if you can steal it away. Equalizer down from Keen in the top lane just to push Xiaoshu out. The crab not secured. Oh, actually was taken by Canyon. I think he just snuck it away under Ginger's nose there. Now Canyon is level 6, and because of that, you'll see JDG say, okay, we have to back off. A little bit of protection for the bot lane. Ginger's going to hold there because there's Destiny and there's the Grand Starfall that could make it a 4v2 on bot side.
I mean, Ginger is spending a lot of time making these 2 ganks happen, both top and bot. You can see the camp differential. Canyon's just been power farming through his clear. It gave him the upgraded smite earlier, which then allowed him to have that smite advantage. I wasn't sure if Ginger even had his smite up. I wasn't keeping track of it. But it felt like that was a guaranteed crab for him. So the fact that he lost it definitely swung the momentum, because now that Dragon's going to be secured by Ginger.
It's just such a big swing. It's level 6 first. Okay, we can't make a play bot side. Okay, we have to give up the Drake. Okay, I have to go back to farming. And because of that, now the gold lead basically dissipates, just evaporates. Only 200, 100 between the 2 teams now. This is what Gen.G can do so well, and this is obviously something a lot of teams would do in this situation, but the willingness to find that smite, to steal away the crab, means that Gen.G are now equalizing the game.
You've got to remember the Twisted Fate passive as well, doing a lot of work for Chovy right now. His farm continues to be immaculate. 7 minutes, 27-1 CS.
And the first strike for Keen.
He's exactly. So I think he's
CS.
also gotten a he got to play to top lane as well. So those are offsetting the kills basically. And imagine if Honku didn't have that kill, right? Like the goal difference would be already pretty big, and this is just the advantage of that TF. And this is what I mean, where like getting those kills, great start. Great in terms of confidence, great that you're just kind of playing without any fear, but at the same time, you need to be able to keep that momentum going. We know that Ginger is often a driver, a key component to the success of JDG, so let's see if he can continue to make things happen in this game as Duro beautifully lights up the bot side half of the map, gets great information for Canyon. That vision will be cleared out. Not all of it. That ward on the Raptors still remains for Gen.G, but Canyon got everything that he needs. He knows exactly where Ginger is. Ruler and Duro can now play around that. And we're just kind of, now that, you know, like the level 6 have passed quite a while ago, we're waiting for these side lane plays to start coming through. Where will the focus be? Bot lane's not an easy place to gank. We did talk about how Cleanse has a lot of value in this game. And unsurprisingly, Garl has grabbed that for himself. Good vision control from JDG. They set the sights on bots.
Yeah, looking again to play around the Scuttle Crab, maybe look for a little bit of an invade when you've got the pushing bot side. The blue, though, already taken by Canyon. Turn his attention over to the Gromp. Ward over from Ginger. Means that JDG know this is happening, but really just a battle for that Scuttle Crab again.
Seems like it. Okay, so feeling as though the game has slowed down just a bit. The Grubs, I mean, I've seen Grubs in the LCK just been completely ignored.
Yeah, just ignored
they've sat there and said, you know what, I don't care. I'd rather just get another full clear done. Grubs definitely feel super weak right now in the current meta. Here we go.
Looking for Gala and Vampire. Vampire flashing away early. Gala with the Arcane Shift will get himself out. A Summoner for an ultimate. A good exchange overall for Gen.G.
Was watching the minimap. Honku doing a really good job of just gluing himself to Chovy. Chovy tried to push out the wave, move into that bot river, ready to follow up. But the vision control that JDG have, along with the fact that Honku is super aware of this guy trying to roam, means that he's not going to get involved in the party. They'll just be happy with the flash that they get off Vampire.
An immediate pings coming out from JDG saying, okay, we know there's no Grand Starfall. We can go for at least a couple of these Grubs. Ginger will be able to take the first one. You can see Canyon working his way across, but expect he'll just stop at the Raptors, accepting that these have been forfeit, so JDG will get their first neutral of the game in the form of 3 Grubs.
These wards that, I think it's Duro that keeps getting them. You can see 2 wards, 1 on the Raptors, 1 now on the Krugs as well. Just to keep information as to where Ginger is, the fact that those camps aren't available, it gives you a clear indication that he's on the top side. The fact that the Grubs has also just been secured, it gives you that information as well. But Gen.G now converting this into a gold lead. Chovy, I mean, the CS gap hasn't changed, but Twisted Fate just continues to mount that goal.
Yeah, the passive is so powerful for him. getting extra gold off every minion that he is killing. Canyon looking to see if Xiaoshu overextends in the top lane, with the wave not being in the best of spots for him, but Xiaoshu still has the Call of the Forge God and a flash, so can just walk out of that one pretty safely. Duo once again stepping in and trying to get a little bit more vision for him. Which is it's an interesting play when you are a bard by yourself and you know your jungler's on the top side of the map and your jungler has been spotted out to go in, but you always have the magical journey to get to safety and the tempered fate as well in case you're really stuck in a sticky situation.
I feel like bard definitely gets to cheat, but it also depends on what you're playing against. Yesterday we saw Labrov try to do something similar and he did get punished a couple times, but Duro seems to be hyper aware of where the enemy jungler is, playing around that beautifully.
Look, man, I'm not going to say there's a slight skill gap between Labrov and Duro.
Okay, what are you going to say then?
I am going to say that. I think there's a slight skill gap between Labrov and Duro, but as you say, like not too much instant CC to catch him out. You've got an encore, a knock up from the 3 Talon strike, but nothing too consequential for something like the Bard.
Seems like the Dragon now, the focus for both these teams, as vision is intensifying. Again, the wards on that bottom tri-brush, 3. 1 behind the pit, 1 in the tri-brush, and then 1 in the bot river. Just basically to give full coverage of a potential flank that JDG could use to come in through from that side. Training Force not yet completed for Gala, a valuable spike that he'd love to have, but he's not going to have it ready. Same can be said though for Ruler, as the Dragon 9 seconds away.
Yeah, the problem for JDG though is Xiaoshu does not have his teleport, so he's now running down the river to try and get here in time, which gives Keen more time just to farm up in the top lane. He can TP in if he needs to. Top lane quest is completed for Xiaoshu as he comes down and across. JDG will start up the Dragon. It actually looks like Genji might just be giving this one up. Can use Duro for the Tempered Fate to delay this. There's the Destiny, there's the TP. Okay, Genji looking to call for the first big fight of the game, the first 5v5. TP down to the bottom side. Gala unable to join the Barney right now as he's been forced underneath his tower. JDG begin a pincer movement, but it's the Ezreal on the bot side, and he's not really the one you want as one of those claws. Keen spotted on Vision, the Drake down to 3,000 HP. Equalizer heal comes out from Vampire. Forced away, the stun card locks them down, and Junja's already dead. The Drake now Genji's target, as between worlds goes Hongju, but Keen goes in with a flame spitter on the backline, and Xiaohu is forced to charge away. The chase continues. Keen with an electro harpoon on Gala, gets the slow Grand Starfall in, and Genji begin to collapse, and JDG will burn alive. Keen finds another. Genji demolish the team fight.
Beautiful patience from Genji. I mean, the way they navigate that fight made it so difficult for JDG to really have an angle of attack. The poke from Chovy, the fact that Gala was chunked out before the fight had even started, and then Junja, they one-shot him before he even gets the chance to ult. He needs to respect the damage output. Look at Gala's HP here. He's forced to use the Arcane Shift early. The poke from TF combined with an early Rumble ultimate, they then stun up the Xin Zhao, don't give him a chance to ult, and they don't overcommit here. They take their time, they use their range, and they chip away. Keen, however, says, you know what, I've done enough damage. I think we can start the chase. Chovy's ready. They have the Pantheon ult too. They get the flashes out, and they pick JDG apart.
Genji didn't even need Ruler to do this. He's on his way down to the bottom lane to get the push in. The gold lead extends to about 3k, and this is why Genji are so feared. An even-ish game. Lead for JDG in the early game, but a singular fight around that second Drake now puts Genji 3k ahead. And you can see in the coin-based gold grind just how even it was up until this point, but now Chovy 1.4k gold ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he is so monstrously far ahead now on the Twisted Fate. He's only going to continue to get stronger. Keen, a 1.1k gold lead for himself. Genji are now in such a terrifying position with a 2 dragon leads. JDG are going to have to find some crazy fights to turn this one around. It looked so good for them at the start, finding those early kills. They were looking confident. I love the way that they were playing, but now they find themselves in an awkward spot where the pressure from Genji, it feels like across the entire map, is unrelenting, and those globals poised and ready to make things even worse for JDG.
Because the lanes are kind of still predominantly intact. We haven't seen a first tower fall. We haven't really opened up the map entirely. Genji having that ability just to be in multiple lanes at once makes it so hard for JDG. They've moved Vampire and Gala into the mid lane. Ruler the only one who needs to deal with him right now. And we talked about the Pantheon and the Twisted Fate as these side lane threats. Bard does the same thing. Tempered Fate is really difficult when you're a low mobility carry. Hongyu has a few ways to avoid it. No flash at the moment, but can use the Between Worlds, can go across the veil. But it is going to be very tricky for JDG to escape Gen G if they do decide to pull the trigger on one of these plays.
Right now, the Herald's being flirted with. And look at this vision. Gen G with the deep wards. Canyon.
Ginger jumped on Crescent Guard coming out. Tempered Fate, they have to dash away from it. Ginger with the Crescent Guard isn't able to escape. Ruler takes the kill. TP coming in as well as Honkyu joins the battle, but Canyon can chase him out. Xiaoshu now in the middle of 4 members of Gen G. A good true shot barrage landing across the backline. Call of Forge God coming out as well. But the root and the stun and the CC on Xiaohu means the Forge God will not make a return journey. Gen G find 2 once again.
I mean, it's just so clean. Gen G give no room for error. They find a single pick, they convert it into another one. JDG have the right instincts, but they basically are just TPing into their own demise. There's no way for them to escape. Gen G pick up more kills, they'll pick up the Herald. The gold lead continues to extend. And I feel like we're already at a point where JDG need to be thinking about game 2.
Yeah, that's the struggle though, because if game 2 goes similarly to game 1, you had a good start. You got 3 kills early doors. Ginger was 1,000 gold ahead in the early game, but then Gen G just took a fight that you started, that you went for around that second Drake, and from there have just been able to close everything out. It is going to be so hard for JDG, not only in this game, but also looking at how they change their strategy in the rest of the series.
I mean, I think that Gen G have just leveraged range incredibly well in this game. The way that they've used Caitlyn not only as zone control, but the fact that the TF can just walk up and land that stun onto any target. Like, the single target stun onto Ginger, they chunk him out. Chovy pops the ghost, ready to follow up. Keen is the one that actually flashes in. But holding that stun card, like, it's just so lethal because of how quickly they can turn their attention onto a single person. And they don't necessarily have to get the kill. They can just kind of chunk them out. But of course, getting kills, Canyon doesn't have his flash. He's got incredible aim. It turns out, beautiful spear connects. Easy kill secure once again. Gen G find themselves in a dominant position here in game 1. And the problem is as well, like, I know there's not a lot of tanky, quote-unquote, members on the side of Gen G, but they do build just a lot of HP.
Yeah.
Rod of Ages, very obnoxious for burst classes. Like Aurora, early laning phase, yeah, she was having a great time. You don't have any damage to trade back against me. But now, at this point in the game, you don't have the burst to just get through the raw HP and the Merc treads that he has. Now they're going to look to secure this tower.
Should be able to get it. And going forward, there's the equalizer. Xiaoshu almost half HP already. Tempered Fate's going to clip the heels of the Ornus. The Crescent Guard isn't going to buy Ginger enough time to survive. JDG forced away. The Rift Herald will get another charge in. And once again, they've lost their jungler.
Decimation is really the only word I have to describe what is happening right now. That early game looked optimistic, but Gen G quickly silenced any semblance of doubt. The way they navigate these team fights, very clean. Dragon on the docket, tower as well. Pushing out the bot wave, getting deeper vision control. We're 18 minutes in, Forge God has been called.
Onto Chovy, who does still have the flash and the exhaust, and the Bellows Breath coming out. Honkyu trying to get the damage down, but they just can't touch him. Gen G miles away from any real engage out of JDG. And when you're using your Call of the Forge God to try and defend a tier 2, that falls, and you lose a tier 1 on the top side because Chovy just destinies away. It is not a good look at all for the LPL number 2 seed. Absolutely.
They're getting desperate at this point because they have to. They need to find something, but they can't even get in range. The Rumble ultimate here was the biggest thing. Keen forces Xiaoshu back. Gala's in an awkward spot. He's doing what he can. Vampire tries to peel for his teammates, but it's just not enough. Gen G's single target focus is too lethal. The moment they've got you in the beginning of that CC chain, it's very difficult to escape. Think about it. The traps layered on top of a Pantheon stun, maybe a Bard root, maybe a TF stun. Like, it doesn't matter. You're going to lose most of your HP if you come within range of a single member of Gen G.
JDG never really been able to get to that team fight position they really wanted with this composition. And Gen G now 9,000 gold ahead, stealing away all of this jungle, suffocating JDG as much as possible. Canyon might just look for someone behind enemy lines here as he jumps onto Ginger. Tempered Fate in as Crescent Guard comes out from Ginger. Good damage here onto Canyon. Duro takes a chunk as well. The equalizer, though, stopping JDG from being able to go any further. A magical journey over the wall gets Gen G out to safety.
I mean, weirdly enough, it still feels like that Gen G's the one that has the pressure.
Look how low JDG are.
I mean, JDG, they get the flash out from Canyon, and he's the one that's forced to retreat, but Chovy's full HP. The poke continues to come through. The bot tower's still going to fall. Ruler's now backing away, but Chovy's not done just yet.
Mid tower, the inhibitor tower at 20 minutes. Down to less than a plate. Gen.G will back away. TP behind as Xiaoshu looks to see if he can find a flank position. 6 seconds before the call of the Forge God is back up. Juro and Keen running away. And they'll be able to escape for now. Gen.G still looking to see if perhaps they can take the fight. After this, it was Xiaoshu who was on the flank. Cosmic Binding lands onto Junja. Call of the Forge God comes out as well, but the headshots for Ruler put Junja in the dirt, and now JDG, all hail the retreat. Chovy Destinies flashes forward, lands onto Vampire with the stun card, and Vampire, even with the Encore landing onto 4, it's just not enough. They just don't die. Gen.G levels above their opposition in this game. They all walk out alive from a 4-man Encore. And Gen.G could just march it down mid.
I mean, they're able to get 1 kill back. They're able to add a death onto the scoreboard of Ruler, but it is an ace nonetheless. The inhibitor will fall. And JDG, they get shepherded. They committed the TP to try and find a pick on the Gen.G, but it is Gen.G that turned it around. And look at the single target focus. They find one target, they shut them down, they find another. Chovy then commits quite deep, and Vampire here lands a beautiful ulti onto 4 members, but the damage just isn't there anymore. They're too far behind in gold. If this play had happened earlier, maybe JDG would have a chance, but they're too far behind. The damage is too much. And it's only at this point that they get a kill back.
Honky flashing forward at the end to get that kill onto Ruler. The mid lane inhibitor does go down. Baron an option as well for Gen.G. Their 14,000 gold advantage weighing heavy in their wallets. And you look at the side of JDG, like, first item is all that Gala has. He's got first item and bits, now finishes the Mana Moon. It's going to upgrade to the Mua Mana. 2 items for Honku as well, but on the other side, you are just in such a strong position as Gen.G. I think they could take it at like a very undernumbered fight right now and still.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Xiaoshu's too far away, doesn't have TP, there's nothing they can do to contest this. It is the traps as well. Junja's going to have a bit of a sniff, but instead he may be... Oh, I think it's guard.
Gold guard. Crescent guard comes out for the Cosmic Binding there for more CC. There's the root from the snapshot. Junja will flash away. The Equalizer didn't do as much as they wanted. Grand Starfall into the backline from Canyon as Honku tries to dash over the wall and will escape. Junja putting the damage down as well, but can't kill off Duro. Keen with a stopwatch call of the Forge God. What gods are you praying to, JDG? They are not listening. Gen.G once again, clean up the fight. Don't lose a man, only Vampire survives.
Sub 25 minutes. Baron secured, the Nexus in sight. Gen.G start this tournament off in dominant fashion.
This was a shellacking. Gen.G showing why they are well and truly the favorites for first stand. 1-0 to the LCK #1 seed. Canyon just obviously the superior.
All right, well, I've got some water here.
Yeah,
right?
Let's do it.
Oh, my goodness. All right, excellent to see the vibes are immaculate on the side of Gen.G. And why wouldn't they be after they simply dismantled JDG? We're not going to waste any time, though. Let's get straight into draft of Game 2. JDG, they're going to have to cook something up. Tabe, show us what you got. Like, you do have a winning record against Gen.G. We really need to see that come through right now, because after Game 1, Gen.G looked absolutely unstoppable with a 23-minute victory. Orianna Nocturne going to be taken off the board immediately. JDG looking to grab that first pick for themselves. Again, though, we look back, Ryze still a priority pick.
Yep.
Taliyah, after the nerfs, definitely fallen to the wayside. I don't think we've actually seen a Taliyah yet this tournament. We did see an Azir yesterday from Caps. Yeah. But again, you can see that the mainstays that we saw for the majority of LEC versus in Ryze, Taliyah,
and the majority of regions,
Azir.
I think, had a similar mid.
Yeah. They mainly, after the nerfs have been pushed out, and it seems that Orianna and Ryze are still the only 2 that are the top dogs of mid lane. But with Aurora gone, TF gone, Ahri is the one that immediately I'm drawn towards. Ahri Vi, you mentioned it earlier, I think can be an easy pickup depending on what they want to prioritize. And I think for JDG, they should be thinking about that Vi. Something that we've seen a lot from Junja throughout the year, and one of his go-to engage jungle champions.
A jungler that he can have agency on in the early game is one of the key pillars of success for JDG. Absolutely. We saw it in Game 1 as well. Like, they did manage to get a lead through the fact that Junja was everywhere on this Xin Zhao, and Honku as well getting the solo kill in the mid lane. And Best was going to be the final ban from JDG. No surprises that you want to take that out of Keen's hands. Karma removed by Gen.G. So where would JDG go with their first pick? You do still have things like the Yunara if you do just want to go for a strong AD carry.
I think Vi has to be the option.
Yeah, I like Vi.
That's what my instincts tell me. But yeah, running through some of the options, like they could Ahri if they wanted to. A little risky to blind it this early on. Yeah, Yunara, it's kind of AD carry or jungle is kind of their only options, I feel.
There's the option of Shoshu's Renekton as well. He does love that. I mean, with the Ambessa ban, I was wondering perhaps, but instead it is going to be the Lulu down towards Vampire.
So, there are some risks with this.
There's a lot of risk with this, Benny.
Blitzcrank, Nautilus, Thresh are the three that immediately come to mind.
Duro's Blitzcrank as well. Like, the guy has made his name on this champion.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen it from him this year, but like, I keep saying Blitzcrank. I feel like in the LEC, I've said it multiple times, and no one in the LEC picked it. I want to see it, Genji. I would love to see a Blitzcrank right now. Blitzcrank Caitlyn, I think, is my favorite combo, but with the Caitlyn already gone, unlikely to see that. There's that Vi that we were talking about. Canyon going to take that one away. Yunara, interesting that they're going to pick the Yunara in. I guess they want to take the combo away from Gala and Vampire, but Aphelios is always something you can pair alongside it. I think Jinx also works.
Yeah. Jinx for Gala would make sense, but there is the Yunara and the Vi locked in for Gen G.
Hogmore is the other one we need to think about.
I don't think you pick Cog into Vi.
It was Gala that I saw playing it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, sure, but at this point, if you're picking a hyper carry, bro, there aren't many with dashes. Zeri is kind of your only option.
That's very true.
So, I mean, the advantage of an Aphelios is when the Vi comes into you, like, hey, I have red-white, you're kind of doing me a favor.
Moonlight Vigil with Severum as well gives you that burst of health if you need it.
Oh, the Jarvan, of course, got through, means that it is available. Ginger happy to grab that for himself. 3 of his most played now going to be removed from the pool, though. But let's see if he can have a big impact on this one this time around. You have to lock in your AD carry here, I feel, unless they feel super confident in Gala's pool, which I feel like they should. He's played, I'm not going to count that, a lot. He's played a lot of AD carries so far. I mean, just not, that's just his year, let alone his career.
Yeah, of course his career, obviously.
Gala, quite the mainstay. Jinx?
Looks like it's going to be Jinx.
Jinx. Just a hyper carry potential. An oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, also you have the kill one hero, one champion, and then immediately Jinx gets to get excited and run through the rest of the fight, right? So a Cataclysm on one person, they die, and then you allow your Jinx just to really pop off, and it doesn't really matter if she's threatened by things like the Vi, because you have the Wild Growth, you have the Whimsy, you have enough tools to protect her in that sort of situation. Gen G are looking for that tried and true combination. Ahri, Vi, ride the wind, go to the other battlefield, get yourself an extra point.
No, not quite.
Sorry, wrong game, my mistake.
But yes, it is very effective. If Ahri lands a charm, then Vi easily connects her Q, but the more common combo is Vi lands her ulti, you don't get to go anywhere, and even if you flash, let's say you're Jarvan, you EQ, flash away, Vi's gonna follow you, Ahri's gonna Spirit Charm right after you. Spirit Charm, Spirit Rush into Charm, that's the combo I was talking about. And they're gonna ban away the Mel, okay, and this is something we've been seeing, I would say specifically in the LPL, but mainly just been rising up in priority. Just her ability to repel that single target lockdown, especially into the charm, is very effective. I mean, I believe we saw it yesterday, from B&K FearX. What else can they ban into an Ahri? You could maybe, it depends how afraid you are of Honkyus, things like, I guess you could ban away Galio. You could also ban away...
I still think Talia is an okay ban. Like, I know she isn't as powerful as she was, but into an Ahri and a Vi, the Unraveled Earth just does a lot of work generally.
Swain?
Like. Okay.
Okay, you think
we're
I'm
reaching.
Kidding.
We are reaching.
But it's Honkyu.
Oh, it is Honkyu. That is true.
Not only does he play Swain, but it's actually it's a very good. It's an old school counter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. I love this reference. 2013, Nuke Duck picked Swain into Fakers.
I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah. He did lose the game. He won the matchup though.
That's been the European into Faker forever. Like, yeah, we lost the game, but I did well. I won my matchup. It's fine. Mel and Annie banned away by Gen G. Nico and Nautilus taken away from Duro.
I didn't think about that one, but I think it makes a lot of sense. It gives you so much lane power, so removing that one from the pool, smart choice. What does Duro go for now? I mean, I'm still toying with the Blitzcrank. Nami could be a possibility as well if you just want to do range versus range.
That sounds like the Thresh as well, if you want to go
Thresh
there.
Yunara, though?
Yeah, I don't like it too much, but it gives you a bit of protection from the Jarvan, and then you also have hook potential in the lane.
Okay.
Rakan is very good at following up on a Vi engage.
Yeah. It's just it's kind of mid in the lane, you know.
Oh,
like,
it's bad in the lane.
It's
like, you jump forward, you get whimsied, and you just die. Whimsy into flame chompers, and you're just dead. So
I think Vi, she'll still follow through even if she gets whimsied, right? Nothing stops that ult, from what I recall. I don't see why it would.
Assuming she's in her ult already.
Yeah, you're just a tiny rabbit that's now
ceasing into system.
And there is that Xiaoshu Renekton. We were kind of expecting it at some point in the series. I mean, Namara was telling me that he thinks this is the best Renekton in the LPL. So strong vote of confidence, but we knew, like, looking into him, it's one of his most played throughout the year, one of his most played throughout his career. He's super confident on the pick. He's going to be blind picking it here. With the Rumble already gone, one less thing you have to worry about. Honku, we're really going to go for the Victor. Think about the Swain. Veigar, really good pick into Ahri as well.
And into Rakan.
Think about that Swain, though.
I like Event Horizon, man. That ability is busted as all hell.
We're really gonna, I mean, okay, we're getting Veigar, all right.
Okay.
I mean, it's a little bit more scaling, but the zone control. I mean, you're good with the building names. What's the baby
Event
gauge?
Horizon.
Event Horizon. Did they really call it Event Horizon?
Yeah, because it's like built of dark matter, which is his W.
Is that not the... Oh, that's his W.
And his Q is Baleful Strike, and his ultimate is Primordial Burst.
Okay,
Come on, come on.
I mean, it's QWER, but it's his E is what is annoying for champions like this to deal with, specifically Ahri, because while she does have a dash, it's not a blink. And there is a key difference between the two, because a blink will help you get out of the Event Horizon, but dash will not. You will in fact be sucked into said Event Horizon, and then you will be obliterated. That is kind of the go-to for Veigar. So JDG again going for a front-to-back approach. They do have a little bit more damage coming through from the top side. Their main initiator gonna be coming through from Ginger. Meanwhile for Genji, I mean, they've got very similar to what they had before. A little bit more side lane threat, a little bit more of a pick composition. They can leverage their range to kind of chip away at their opposition. But I will say, I think this Veigar does introduce a bit of a spanner into the works just because of the amount of zone control it provides. Now, I'm a big advocate of, have you ever heard of the Jarvan effect? No. You know, the EQ flash ult, I'm in, and then you look behind and your team isn't there. Right, so Vi, when she ults in, Event Horizon drops, Vi now finds herself in a similar position where I've committed to the fight, I'm ready for the follow-up, but the zone control that champion provides then makes it much harder to follow through.
That makes sense.
So we'll see how much of an impact Honku can have on the champ. Again, slow starter. It doesn't really... The problem with picking it with Jarvan is that then they don't really do the same thing. You know, they kind of... Jarvan wants someone that can support his engage, ready to follow through, ready to follow up. Veigar's more about, I want to sit in my lane and just kind of farm.
But if you even if you don't kill the enemies, very easy to land your abilities and get your phenomenally evil power stacked up as the Veigar. That is very true. It's the first time we've seen Veigar in about a year. Last time we saw it at MSI Plains by Knight. It is the first time Honku has ever brought it out in his professional career, as far as we can see. And perhaps it's what JDG need to battle against the Genji monolith that took them down in game one.
Well, let's see. JDG got off to a great start in game one. I quite like the comp idea from JDG.
Trade. Oh, this is so nice from Vampire and Gala here, getting a heal out of Duro. He started with a Gleaming Quill, but good Lulu players will do this. They have so much harass at level 1.
And for some international viewers that perhaps only tune into international events, you might be a little bit surprised to see, like, oh, they're using heal this early on. It's become a very common practice, pretty much across the world, where you just invest that summoner spell very early to get that trade advantage, but specifically the movement speed that you get, because it helps you just stick onto your target and get those extra couple of hits in so that you can find a nice trade. So already going to see those heals expended in the bot side of the Rift, as both junglers starting on their top side, once again looking for a path towards bot. Keep an eye on Xiaoshu as well, and he's already finding some nice trades into the Gnar matchup. Typically Gnar favored. Usually it's very difficult for the Renekton to be able to play, but Xiaoshu leveraging his early strength on the Renekton to try and bully out Keen and at the very least get some control over the wave.
Honku and Chovy just going to be farming up in the early game. Chovy will be waiting for Canyon's ability to come across and really harass down Honku.
Now in game one, remember it was Chovy that built the Rod of Ages. Ooh, hang on a minute, Ginger.
It's a sneaky peeky. He's going to get spotted on that ward. I think no pings, the ward expired. Where are you going, Ginger? You're going all the way around? No, so he's going to put the ward down to spot Canyon on this red. He'll take the Krugs and then maybe look for the gank towards the bottom side. Could also EQ in and smite when Canyon doesn't expect it to be taken.
Will Duro spot him?
I mean, Duro needs to get to lane, because Ruler is stuck under his tower here. Duro needs to run across. Okay, Krug's taken.
Ginger did a really good job.
Ginger, he goes in!
He loses the red buff, though.
Canyon gets the red buff. Ginger didn't smite, just jumped across, and Canyon's like, okay, I'll take the small Krug.
I love the Yuumi emote, though. He was like, why is there a Jarvan here? Was not expecting that. Wow, okay, so love the idea. Doesn't quite secure the red buff, though. Would have been big if he had been able to secure it. His jungle clear now heavily slowed down. Canyon losing out on a camp sucks for him, but that bot Scuttle Crab now open for taking. Could be a double crab situation.
It could also be an invade. Like, Genji have the push coming out from bot side. Gala and Vampire a little bit low.
It's risky, though. There's no point,
risky,
really.
But
I think for, you just... Ginger, you're not going to get this. There's no way. Okay, so yeah, so you're just going to get double crabbed.
Yep.
So that's the downside of all of this. By losing the red buff, you basically don't have the opportunity to go and contest a crab. And the fact that they had that bot push, I prefer this play from Canyon because you can get the top crab, go back to base, immediately start full clearing once again. And yeah, I think that just from a tempo perspective, it makes way more sense for Canyon.
You're right. I just like invade. Very, if there was a possibility of action, yeah, that's what I like to see.
No, that's fair enough. And Duro, he created a slow push here in the bot lane as well, so that's also going to be pushing him towards them. The mid lane has been a little bit action-packed. I wanted to talk earlier about how for Veigar, we often see Rod of Ages. And I think, again, for the same reasons, it just makes you more durable. Yeah. And remember that the thing about Veigar is you just continue to passively stack up the damage from your Q, so that when you do get those last hits, your AP ends up going up. And so going for Rod of Ages, it's just like a very mega scaling type of build, and you reach a certain point where you just hit like a truck. Yeah. You just hit really, really hard. And so, but it also just increases your survivability.
Gala caught out here, needs to get away. Polymorph down onto Ruler, flash away from Gala. And they will take that exchange.
I mean, you see
with a
how
great grand entrance.
Significant levels are in the bot lane 2 versus 2. Being level 3 versus level 4, those just that extra stats that you get, really giving you a big advantage, and really hitting the hurt down in the bot lane 2v2. Not a huge difference in terms of the farm. Meanwhile, Chovy, he is building a bit of an advantage. What you need to do on Ahri in this matchup is you just kind of perma-push. You trade mana to get control over the wave, to shove as quickly as you can, with the sole intention of forcing the wave underneath the tower, because it's much harder for Veigar to be able to last hit underneath his tower. He wants time to just queue those minions, last hit as often as he can, so Chovy doing the right thing and just perma-shoving that wave underneath the tower, making it harder for Honku to do just that.
Ginger spotted here by the Scryer's Bloom. Canyon's going to jump across onto the Jarvan, just forcing him low before this Scuttle Crab fight begins.
Well, it's spawning on the top side, so...
Oh, that it is. No Scuttle Crab. Dragon fight, though. Slightly larger Scuttle Crab.
Yeah, somewhat. Will use the smite early. Knows that he's going to get it off cooldown soon. With the bot lane control and the mid lane control, Ginger really can't contest this. Will that stop him from contesting it, though? We're about to... Yeah, I mean, your Jinx is going back to base. Yeah. I think there's not much of a contest here. But again, like, we kind of expected this. This is why I was a little bit skeptical of Jarvan plus Veigar, because Veigar really doesn't like get lane control. So there's not much that the Jarvan, who's not the best skirmisher, especially against the Vi, can do. So you're just kind of at the mercy of whatever Canyon wants to do, really, and Canyon is taking full advantage of that. And the invade, nice idea, but ends up backfiring quite significantly. Ginger, though, on his way to level 6, going to be working towards that. Polymorph, nice damage under Duro.
Duro was trying to hug the top side of the bush to avoid the Glitter Lance hitting onto Ruler, who was backing in the second bush, but he was just in range. So Ruler's back was stopped. He loses a little bit of time in terms of coming back to the lane. In time, the wave is going to crash in. You can see Gala here will step up to Duro to make sure that at least a couple of these minions, one or two, die before Ruler can get back.
Gala's already just gone back to base, so Vampire, he needs to skedaddle ASAP. The good news is that Duro is also going to go back to base. Gala, though, successfully pushing that wave underneath. Going to do another recall.
What's he going?
What gold does he have? I was going to say, he just spent his gold. I don't think there's much for him to do. The wave is now kind of in an awkward spot. He's just got to tank it up, got to accept it.
Yeah, we'll push into him. His cannon minion was dying a lot quicker than Ruler's, so eventually that wave will begin to crash in with Ruler farming it up. Canyon here just getting vision control up towards the top side, but a relatively slow early game between these two teams. As you said, like, not getting pushed out of mid means that Ginger is kind of muted in the early game, and Jahu and Keen just very happy to trade into each other consistently on top side, but neither of them really have a huge amount of kill threat, especially with plated steel caps being the first item they both complete.
Yeah. Makes a ton of sense for both sides of the matchup. One for mitigating the poke and one for mitigating the all-in. So Both top laners happy to farm. Renekton with a small gold deficit and a small CS deficit, but nothing too significant. Vision control is immaculate for Gen G on the top side of the rift. You can just see wards littered across the river and into the entrances, along with one control which is getting cleared out right now. Duro, I mean, he has gone back to base, but he, well, doesn't have any wards left. I guess he hasn't...
He hasn't upgraded as well.
He hasn't got the upgrade. So, yeah. I was like, kind of a little bit surprised, but...
I mean, it's a little bit harder for the Rakan to like walk up and auto the minions, whereas the Lulu just gets to stand there and say, okay, you're stepping. Okay, cool, I'll auto attack you, get my World Atlas procs. Has those wards already stacking up. 5 seconds before we have the grubs spawning, but it looks like Gen G want to bring their attentions down towards this bottom side. Clear out vision once again, make sure that Ginger it just can't really do any on the map. You can see so much vision control through both sides of the river, top and bot for Gen G. Where does Ginger go?
Sorry, none of you saw that, but Medic just knocked a bottle of water off the side of the Cassides. Yep. Dramatic fashion.
The gesticulation happening there.
Yes,
sometimes it just,
accurately, yes. Oh, truly stupendous.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Ooh, there it is, the Event Horizon, the first of many.
I doubt it was the first.
It was an uneventful Horizon, one could say.
Good one, man. Good one.
Twirling my
Bring it to me,
there.
bring it to me.
Bring what to you, Medic?
The Horizon, buddy.
But it was uneventful.
Yeah, but bring me the Horizon.
Oh, I see you've made another clever joke about the band. Bring me the Horizon. Well done, good sir. Well done. I can feel the audience riveting at our clever puns.
They're entirely riveted right now.
Now, Grub's begun. Becoming more British the more I cast with you, man.
Quite.
I don't think
what what light through yonder window breaks?
The problem is, Medic, we've got a Veigar in mid. Can we get a stack check, perhaps? Maybe
it's 73, you can see it on the screen.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
completely forgot we had that feature.
Canyon gets the second. Meanwhile, on the top side, a bit of a fight happening as Keen and Xiaoshu continue to trade. A flash in cease and desist. Xiaohu doesn't have support of 420 gold. Goes over to Canyon for first blood.
A nice punish from Gen G. Xiaoshu going for a bit of an all-in when his team can't really support him. And he was doing pretty well in the 1v1, but the moment Canyon arrived, changed the dynamic, and things don't quite go your way. Duro doing what he often does, snuck his way into the jungle. Now Keen
has flash, polymorph, flag and drag, and down goes the nut. Good play from Vampire there, flashing forward to make sure Keen didn't have a route to escape.
Absolutely, love that play. Chobi taking a bit of a nasty trade there. I have to imagine that this one was eventful. And Honkyu was able to get the combo off, and now he has to back because an ult from Honkyu puts him in kill range. Yeah. So TP gonna come through. Come on, you can land it, Honkyu. There it is. Oh, nice combo.
Good damage, good damage.
That's just a taster of what's to come. More damage will continue to mount. Ooh, nice sidestep there from Ruler. No support, given that Vampire was sitting top lane making that play, means the Gala are going to be zoned away from a lot of farm. And Gen G, without really doing much, have amassed a 1.4k gold lead.
Yes, I mean, they have won every lane.
Yeah, it's kind of the frustrating thing when you're playing against the best team in the world, when they kind of just have all the best players, they just kind of passively just win.
Yeah.
It's very annoying.
Yeah, Ruler has a 20 CS lead.
Yeah, it's like,
And part of that as well, like Vampire roaming across. Vampire, the only one on JDG who currently has a bit more gold in his pockets than his enemy number. Drake is up. Vampire and Ginger trying to team up to gain control around it. Sundered Sky completed on both the junglers. And
now, have you seen this statistically best build on Jinx?
No.
X Optics into Phantom Dancer.
Okay.
Into then either a Last Whisper item or Infinity Edge.
Okay, I see the vibe.
It's just
Optics got buffed slightly, right?
It was a while ago, I thought. I don't think on this patch.
It was one of the previous 2 patches, I think.
Yeah, that's what I mean by, sorry, when I say a while ago, we were selling 26.3 for ages.
Yeah,
so
my head is that was the last patch, but obviously we've had 2 since then.
Yeah. But you're right, it did get buffed, and Jinx, we've just been seeing it more as a first item. It's become more common. We saw it from Diablo yesterday. And I mean, if we're thinking about that, all JDG need is a pentakill on Jinx.
Yes.
And easy dub.
We saw it yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Diablo and Gala, they share at least 2 letters of their names. And Gala, I mean, Gala is the pentakill king. Right? He's the pentakill prince. I've demoted him slightly, but his alliteration is better. We all remember Sheen with the Gala call on that
This
Kai'Sa.
dragon, I believe, is uncontestable.
Nothing is truly uncontestable, Betty.
He's going
Flag and drag, he smikes it, he contests it! And there's the knock-up on Canyon as well. Cease and desist onto the backline as Duo looks for the engage, but Canyon might be the first to fall in the fight for Gen G. They did manage to pick up Hongju. Chovy still looking for the chase. Gala running away, but the charm landing from Chovy means it is a 3-for-1 exchange for Gen G.
They do get the dragon, but it costs them a lot. Hongyu was very isolated from his team, and Chovy saw that as an opportunity. He pounced onto Hongyu, caught the Veigar out of position, and didn't give him an opportunity to move. Meanwhile, Canyon survives for so long. Look at the difference here. So Canyon is able to get his ultimate off. He creates a bit of space. Meanwhile, Hongyu dead immediately. So while Canyon's doing all this damage on the backline, surviving for all this time, the rest of Gen G then arrive to offer assistance. Chovy gets a double, connects the charm, and they end up converting it into a third one. Chovy finds himself with 2 kills, Ruler with 1, and now look at that goal difference. A single dragon that was supposed to be an opportunity for JDG opens up one for Gen G.
Canyon now 4th all-time in assists, 1,250 internationally. Wow. Incredibly impressive from this guy that continues to level up across his career. 2026, having an absolute stormer so far.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it in the previous game. It felt like that towards the end of the year, he felt like he was tapering off a little bit, not having the strongest performance relative to expectations at the very least. But coming into 2026, this man has been on a mission. He is performing excellently, earning that finals MVP. And of course, already winning player of the game after game 1. Strong start to first stand, a 3K gold lead. Chovy fishing for a charm, doesn't quite find it though.
Ginger able to walk away. Okay, Betty.
Yes.
Hard question for you.
Okay.
How many stacks does Hongyu need?
Well, hang on.
They do get the knock-up onto Duro, and there's another stack for Hongyu.
He needs more.
Okay, he's got 124 right now. Xiaoshu just winning! The 1v1 against Keen gets a solo kill.
Okay, I see where the best Renekton in the LPL comes from. You know?
I get that vibe. I get that vibe.
Solo kill onto Keen. Very well done from Xiaoshu. Up on the top side. Definitely swings the momentum a little bit. The gold very much still in favor of Gen G, but Hongyu getting that kill. I think like there was a 1.2k gold advantage for Chovy. Nice swing for Hongyu, ticking over to level 11.
Close alliance for the slow Gala.
They can't overcommit here. They don't have enough information,
yeah,
especially where Canyon is. Speaking of,
Gala has flash, Vault Breaker, knock up from the Wild Growth, Flame Chompers down, cease and desist forward, and now the chase continues for Gen G. They thought they'd backed away in time, but JDG still caught out Gala Falls.
I mean, this is the problem for anyone playing against Gen G. Anyone on their team can get average. And so, yes, you get a solo kill on the top side. Well done, Xiaoshu. But when we have a look at the Coinbase gold grind, you can see that, sure, the gold is even in the top lane. It is even. Whereas for Ruler, it is not even.
Yeah.
It is. Okay, TP flank. The Veigar TP flank. Okay.
Oh, Chovy does have flash and has Spirit Rush. And yeah, okay, Hongyu. That's a farming TP as the Vitoad secured here for Gen G. And they will just back away from the fight.
I was about to say that was uncontestable again. And
hey, they got the last one. The last time you said that,
was it worth it?
No, it's still contestable, you know.
Okay, we're getting into cement, I see. Right.
Right now, Gen G, a little bit of a cheat code as Gala forced away by Ruler. The ex-JDG player.
It's just, they get the tower bot, they get the tower mid.
It's every second Drake, man. Like, the second Drake happens, flash forward with the Cataclysm, but this Jarvan is a mile away from the rest of his team. Ruler, they're going to get caught out by Xiaoshu, and the chase continues. Shut down to Ginger. Duro next. JDG collapse. And managed to find 2. Chovy recalling. Should be able to escape. Keen able to force JDG away.
Okay, so Xiaoshu, I love the use of the TP there to create a flank. That engage from Ginger felt way too deep. It felt like that was an ambitious play, especially with Gala having no HP. But they're able to make it work. They find 2 kills. They get a shutdown onto Ruler as well.
I think he was just there, by the way. I'm not sure he teleported.
Oh, you're right. He didn't TP.
Yeah, I think he was just there,
Actually, let's have a look back at the minimap. Yeah, he actually just went the long way around. Look at the minimap. You can see him finding the loop around. They're sitting on a ward. The flash engage comes through, connects onto 3. Xiaoshu pops the ulti early, finds Ruler. I think this second kill, they should have tried to give to Gala. But you know what? Xiaoshu right now is doing all the work, so sure, take that kill.
I mean, sure. Unexpected. Can we say that on the podcast? So, still a 2K gold lead for Ruler. Drake up. It'll only be the second of the game for either team.
This is uncontestable, Medic.
I don't think it is, Reddy. Xiaoshu's on his way down. Chovy is already in the mid lane. Gen.G will take it.
Yeah.
It was contestable, but didn't need to be contested.
No, it was uncontestable,
okay, sure,
I'm telling you. So, let's take a look at the game state, because honestly, it's better than it was. Xiaoshu has proven that I am now a threat that you have to be cautious of, and Gen.G definitely feels hesitant, so they're sending 4 people to top lane, and they're saying, you know what? Fine, let's play the numbers game. And the problem is, without any mid-tower, there's not much they can really do to threaten.
Xiaoshu with the dominance. Juro going to dance away with that battle dance. Drift out charges in, and there's the tower. That's all Gen.G really wanted out of the exchange. Yep,
they'll be happy with that. Extend the gold lead a little bit more. They got the ulti out from Xiaoshu as well, so less of a scary threat. That mid-wave, though, this is the problem. Gala can't approach it.
Yeah.
He cannot go anywhere near it. The threat of a canyon collapse is just too lethal.
Nor can Honkyu, really. Like,
I mean, you're right.
One event horizon does not deal with the geometry that is a Vi and an Ahri.
Absolutely. So they're going to have to play it safe. TP. What's our game plan here? Oh, mid lane is the game plan.
Yep. Gala steps up. And here goes Chovy, Ruler looking for it as well. Juro in with the quickness. Vampire with a great wild growth. As Juro can't connect, Vampire will still die. Junja and Gala forced towards the top side. Cease and desist onto Gala. No matter what he does to try and escape, there is no way away. A blast cone back from Juro. You activated his fight or flight response, and Rakan is a flightless bird. He wants to fight as Gen.G continue to force JDG low.
JDG, they're just getting the runaround. Like, we just talked about how dangerous it is to approach that wave, and it's like, why aren't you playing safe, Gala? And he's like, I had my whole team here, man! I had my whole team here! And Chovy just says, I don't care. Engages beautifully. He doesn't connect the charm on the Vampire. Vampire with his fancy feet buys a lot of time, but that's all he bought, really. That's all he could do. Delay the inevitable. And then Duro just adding insult to injury. So a nice engage comes through from Chovy. The follow-up from Ruler and Duro. They catch out Vampire. And you're thinking, okay, this is the end of the play. But Canyon hasn't arrived yet. Flashes in, connects the ult. And then the follow-up damage means that there's no way for Gala to get out either. And then look at this. He goes over the wall. Blast comes him back in. Chovy wasn't even expecting that and still gets the kill.
Yeah, what do you do against that? Tabe there, you see, struggling to find a formula to take down Gen.G, as so many teams have done this year and across the last few years. And now Gen.G 6,000 gold ahead, 2.5 items complete on Ruler, Chovy the same.
I mean, here's the thing though, like, I think they picked too much scaling.
Sure.
Right, and oh yeah, that's a flash gone. Your idea is solid. I quite like the draft in isolation, but if you don't do anything against Gen.G, then they do this.
Yes.
They just take everything, and you kind of need to be able to contest them at some point, because if you don't, they'll just run rampant. And the fact that you've gotten one dragon, at the very least, buys you a little bit more time. But now, you're looking at Honkyu, and you're like, are you nearly done?
202 stacks, Betty.
Can we finish the scaling part now? Is that possible? Looks like he's working towards Zonya's. The Rod of Ages is very nearly complete. Canyon stealing camps away from Junja. It's a rough one for JDG as they find themselves 6k gold behind.
They just have no vision past like their raptor pits. There's nothing even superficially towards the river or into the Gen.G side of the jungle, and now Baron an option for Gen.G. A minute 20 before we see the next Drake. Junja diving in onto Ruler, Cease and Desist. Cataclysm flash away from Junja just to escape, and he goes back in!
What was the plan there, Junja? What was the plan? Because I don't quite see it. They now have a Baron angle, and they're going to duo it. They don't even need Chovy. He's still sitting top lane. He can collapse at any point, but with no smite threat, Gen.G's not afraid.
Honkyu poking his nose and prodding. He's not going to find anyone. Maybe we'll catch Chovy if he walks around. Xiaoshu here as well. While the rest of JG begin to collapse, but that Baron already down to, well, it's dead. Gen.G have taken it. Chovy dives in, and look at the damage immediately. Good double knockup coming out from Duro, as Xiaoshu and Honkyu will fall. Gala and Vampire can only watch as Gen.G collapse again and take out their mid and top.
I mean, The death from Junja has now completely broken the game. Gen.G were already in a winning position, but now with the Baron, they might be looking for another sub-25-minute win. They don't quite have the waves just yet, but that mid tower is soon to fall. Chovy's farming more plates in the top lane. This Ahri is level 15, and that gold, the experience gap is going to close once Hongyu finishes the Rod of Ages, but I think it's too little, too late. Gen.G, they took control of this game and they have not let it go.
Have a look at it again. Chovy here just playing the longest flank, finds the charm.
So easy. Nice charm connects. The flash over the wall from Hongyu. He still ends up dropping. And Xiaoshu, the scariest member on the side of JDG, falls like paper.
Yeah. I was hoping for a Medjais from Chovy. He's gone for the Storm Surge instead. Still a ton of damage coming out from him. Infinity Edge complete for Ruler. Gala nowhere near really that third item. Hongyu still yet to complete his Zhonya's. The only person within like 800, 900 gold of their opposite man is Vampire. And yes, Ardent Sensor and Mikhail's are great items on a Lulu, but you kind of need your carries to be in a position to use them. And they're not right now.
I mean, oh, hang on.
Chovy's committed Spirit rushing forward.
A bit deep there.
And they just walk away. Like Keen can push in bot side. JDG need 5 players to try and deal with this. Chovy using the last portion of the Spirit Rush does get zapped. There's a flank position here for Xiaoshu as well. Canyon looking for the engage. Junja going on to that backline duo with a knockup. Ruler forced away. TP coming in from Keen as he wants to join the fray. Ruler might fall here, but Gen.G dive in and protect him. The Gleaming Quill to heal everything onto Ruler. And there's the Gnar back from Keen. JDG once again thought they'd found one, but Gen.G will not let a man fall. They'll chase into the base. The Primordial Burst enough to kill off Canyon, but Hongyu pays for it with his life.
JDG tried their best to lock down Ruler. They sent everything in the kitchen sink to secure that kill, but it wasn't enough. Sub 25 minutes, they will ace JDG, and for the second game in a row, will look to stomp them here at first stand.
It's just a demolition. Gen.G, the series might be under in less than 90 minutes. 2-0 now. We'll see what they can do in Game 3. Hello and welcome back to First Stand 2026, where we are watching like a purple patch of a performance. An absolute demolition from Gen.G over JDG. It has been incredibly one-sided. Games determined by Gen.G winning a fight at second Drake and then never giving up anything after that point. JDG did elect first pick. Gen.G chose to be on the blue side for this game. Let's get into picks and bans.
Varus, Nico are going to be taken off the board once again. Orianna, Rise probably going to be similar from Gen.G, and they might just ban the Karma. You know what? Because why change anything?
Yeah.
So far, nothing has broken you. You are unperturbed, you are undisturbed, you are unbothered by what your opposition chooses to bring to the Rift, because you are simply better.
Flourishing, thriving.
Moisturized?
Yeah, there was a thing for a while. It's like I'm moisturized, I'm living my best life.
Oh.
Like,
I would recommend that you should moisturize. It's good for your skin.
It's very good for your skin.
Anyway,
there's the comment.
let's jump back into this game. JDG, what are they going to remove from the pool with Varus and Nico gone? What is the first pick now? Because all of Junja's favorite junglers are gone. We're now moving into Wukong, Nocturne, sort of hard engage type of junglers, a little bit more team fighting. Galio going to be banned away.
Nocturne was banned away by JDG in Game 2. So maybe we'll see them look for that early doors here. There are things like the Mundo as well, a very strong tank jungler.
I feel like blind picking Mundo into Canyon is a risk.
It is, I mean, blind picking anything into Canyon is a risk. Picking anything into Gen.G is a risk, buddy.
You got to be able to pick some things.
Sure.
I'm just saying that if we're going to, are we really going to blind pick a Mundo? I mean, Game 3, I guess the options were blind pick and Annie.
Okay, Annie was buffed a little bit on the previous patch.
Okay. I'm immediately thinking, like, the way you beat Annie is you kind of outrange her. You could do Victor if you want to survive the burst and do, like, Rod of Ages Victor builds.
Is it?
You could do Azir. It's a little risky. But, yeah, I mean, Chovy's Azir is probably fine. I feel like he won't do it, though. Anyway, Ambessa is currently the hover. A flex pick can be played both top and jungle. We'll see what direction they choose to go. They don't have to decide right now. With Yunara gone, I'm thinking about 80 carries that might be really important at this point in the series. Corki, we haven't seen a huge amount of just yet.
Could look towards something like the Jhin as well, if you just want an 80 carry that stands back as your team engages. Kai'Sa, if you want follow-up on a dive composition as well.
I'm pretty clever, don't you think?
Well, Victor,
I've
always thought you were very clever, Ben.
You liar.
Yeah, no, I've always thought you were very clever. I just like picking it apart.
No,
get wrecked! Noob! Obviously it was Wei. Obviously.
Oh, Chovy, you tease me. Okay, yeah, I mean, Wei it pretty much does what we were talking about in the context of range, right? He basically keeps Annie away from him and is relatively safe. So now, JDG, are you going to do the Annie Wukong?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, a 2023 JDG special.
That was.
A different iteration of JDG, but very much still holds true to this day. Gives you a really powerful level 6 spike. And yeah, it's a fast combo in that flash, bear, stun, fiery death, into knocked up into the sky, into lots of damage being done everywhere. Seems though instead they want to prioritize their bot lane. They want to get the Corki Nami. Genji can't match both, which means the JDG can then pinch the pool afterwards. But Genji could just secure their top side if they want, or they could look to lock in a support. Maybe a Thresh if they want a hook champion, maybe even Nautilus.
Yeah, the only risk with like a Nautilus is you are going into an Annie, Nami, Corki, right? Like Corki can Valk away. If you catch the Nami, sure. But if you are in there and the rest of your team isn't there to follow up, you are kind of just
They're going
dead.
in there.
They are going in there. Everyone is going in there. It's true. There's the Nocturne.
Now, normally, we've cast a lot of EU Nocturnes.
That we have.
And generally, if it doesn't have proper follow-up, I don't love Nocturne.
Sure.
Because he's just kind of like, I'm diving onto a backline alone.
Yeah.
Which is often why we see Ori Nocturne. Often it's paired with something with like some good burst or whatever. Yeah, something like that, right? But this is Canyon's Nocturne, so I have to reshape my perspective of how Nocturne is to be played.
Nocturne is he's an electrician in Canyon's hands.
Tell me.
Turns off the lights.
Yeah.
And then they just play around in the dark. He doesn't actually have to go in. It's I'm just going to turn off all these lights.
Absolutely.
Good luck. I have my night vision goggles. He's kind of an electrician / ninja, apparently. In my head.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's got his goggles on.
Yeah.
And then the other team is just like stumbling around trying to find anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, Hui, the range we talked about earlier, yeah, he's got the, again, what I know it as is it's QW, right? That's how I know
Severing
it.
Bolt.
It is Severing Bolt. Okay. But QW is good, following up with the Nocturne. And then Ambessa's going to be that natural follow-up as well. Now, the Wukong ban, we kind of expected Wukong to be the priority. Genji aligned with us and said, you know what, we're going to take that out of the pool. Jack's going to be removed as a response to the Ambessa top lane from Xiaoshu. I think that makes sense. I think Xiaoshu, he demonstrated that he's got the moves.
Oh, yeah,
right?
100%. So
taking away that counter pick, I think, makes a ton of sense. The Nautilus that we just discussed, going to be removed from the side of JDG. Are they concerned about another hook champion? No, the Renata. Okay, so they are going to look for some type of engage. Is it a Malphite medic? How are you feeling about that?
I'm not a massive fan of Malphite. I mean, Malphite into Ambessa is fine, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they probably want to see what AD carry or support comes through.
I think the problem, you're saying JDG pick Malphite top?
No, jungle.
Oh, jungle.
I mean, I'm looking at Ginger's pool, and one of his most played is Malphite.
I think the risk is if you Malphite ult the backline and then Paranoia comes out.
Okay, with Alistar, I don't like Malphite
then
anymore.
Can't see anything on the.
Yeah.
You know, there's a Sylas possibility, although you kind of need an AD top if you're going to do that. I wouldn't mind Sylas.
Your comp's a little bit squishy. You don't really have anyone to tank Baron. They might do a Scion top. Maokai, I don't like it, man. I don't like Maokai with like an AP mid. The main reason is just, so you want to build Merc Treads against Annie.
Sure.
So if you then pick Maokai, you're now just getting extra value out of your Merc Treads.
True.
As opposed to something that's just a little bit, that's why Wukong is such a great pairing, because like, oh, you're going to build armor boots? Well, now Annie's having free reign. But if you don't build MR, then your Wukong's going to do a ton of damage. So I don't love Maokai. I understand why they're doing it. Okay. It's a good team fight control. They don't really have an engage, and so Maokai kind of acts as a pseudo-engage, and the Zehen's going to be that follow-up. I'm concerned about how much range JDG really have available to them playing into Hui. I feel like Chovy's got like all the space in the world with a comp like this, and I think as long as Duro doesn't overcommit, they're chilling. They are mega, and if they go Sivir, oh, Sivir I think is so good. The spell shield to mitigate. Okay, they're going Jhin. All right, I mean, that's also fine.
I mean, it's the same idea, right? You just stand a mile away and you curtain call and the rest of the team goes in and you're like, cool,
Yeah, I was thinking about it actually, like Sivir is actually relatively short range, all things considered. Whereas Jhin, you're completely right. The ulti gives you so much space. And now, like, Jhin, on paper, this comp seems a bit like it wants to do two different things, because you've got Ambessa and Nocturne that want to dive forward, and you've got Chovy on Hui and Ruler on Jhin that want to play back. But what they'll do is they'll leverage their poke first, and the moment that enough poke has been done and you overstep, then they go, right? And it's about that patient play that, truthfully, many teams in the world just can't execute. I think patience in League of Legends is a really hard thing to navigate. Knowing the right time to force the engage is a very hard skill, but Gen G have mastered it. They are masters of that patient play. And we saw it in game one, right? Same idea, Caitlyn TF, you chip away at them, chip away, and then someone oversteps, you immediately go and you win the team fight. So same idea here from Gen G.
It's a similarity between myself and Gen G. We have a lot of experience with patience.
Is that because you were a former doctor?
Yes.
I see. Okay, yeah, very clever.
Anyway, for JDG, the question is, can you come back? First two games of this series have been incredibly one-sided. They were able to get a bit of a lead in game one, but after that really haven't had fights that came out too far in their favor. And Gen G,
they're at the precipice of setting a new record, Medic.
Gen G are,
We've done the math.
We have.
Hit us with the math, Medic.
Oh, you want me to tell them the math?
Yeah, I mean, you did the math. I would just give you numbers.
Fastest ever best of 5 internationally was G2 versus Team Liquid, MSI.
We remember
finals.
that one fondly.
2019. We had to say it.
We had to say
it. G2
Sorry,
2019.
guys, we had to get it in there.
Fastest ever best of 5. This series, if this game ends in 23 minutes and 7 seconds or less, becomes the fastest ever international best of 5.
So 23 minutes and 7 seconds is the time that you're looking for Gen G to break that fastest international
Importantly, Gen G
record.
would have to win this game for that record to be set.
They absolutely would have to do that.
If JDG win it in like 22:15, not the fastest international best of 5.
Yeah, that is correct.
I think it's an important clarification.
Gen G, I mean, it's just a demonstration of the dominance that they are demonstrating here at this tournament.
We were talking about it a little bit in the break. It's one of those things where Gen G are making JDG look poor.
They are.
But they're not.
JDG's not a bad team.
Yeah, they're not a bad team at all.
You don't get second in the LPL being a bad team. Okay, that's not what happens. And I know the Lion fans are like, we could beat this JDG. And I don't think this is an accurate representation of how good JDG really is, because Gen G just have this effect where they just make good teams look very bad simply because of how dominant they truly are. JDG looking to get their first win on the board. They already have a very small goal lead. Gala and Vampire off to a fantastic start in the 2v2 lane, simply because, I mean, Alistair is having a miserable time. Alistair is not going to be having fun in this lane.
It's also Jhin. You get 4 attacks to try and trade back. It's like, we're probably going to lose that into an ebb and flow. Tidecaller's blessing on Gala, who can use that Gatling gun to reduce your armor. So yeah, not the easiest early doors for the Cow and the Artist in the bot lane, but Gen G should be okay just surviving a little bit of that early pressure. Does look like it's going to be a plate over to Gala and Vampire, though, on the right of your screens. Honku did get the push in mid as well, forced Chovy down, and has had to come back with a Sapphire Crystal here on the way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest thing I'm concerned about for JDG's draft is largely this Maokai. I don't think they have easy access to the backline. I know that they were a little bit limited in terms of jungle options. I do think they should have prioritized getting that Wukong before, but also just double AP mid-jungle makes Merc Treads have a ton of value. And how are they going to close that gap? How are they going to successfully get on top of these backline carries, as Gen G have demonstrated their ability to play at range so many times before? Now, Canyon hovering around mid lane. He's threatening a gank.
Honku oversteps. Honku has used that teleport already, but is able just to walk away from the devastating fire out of Chovy. Takes a bit of damage, but nothing too major.
Sidestep, connects the stun, shield comes through. Kind of what we're expecting from these trades. Annie has options, but overall it's just pretty stock standard, slow early phase. Duro, Bubble doesn't connect. Could have been a nice chunk of damage from JDG's bot lane 2 versus 2. Not going to find much off the back of that though. TP's committed now from the majority of the solo laners. Only Keen with his left. As Junja back on his top to bot side clear. So kind of what we've come to expect from this series, a relatively slow and quiet start, as everyone is enjoying the calm, quiet sounds of Summer's Rift.
It's not too calm or quiet.
It's actually very calm and soothing, eh?
Xiaoxu?
Just because champions are fighting to the death in their respective lanes doesn't mean that it can't be calm and soothing.
I guess the important clarification is it's not to the death. If it was to the death, then we'd see a little bit more death.
They absolutely die. Just because they resurrect doesn't mean that they forego the...
Right now, no one is doing that, Betty. They are just fighting.
But they can be fighting to death. They might not be succeeding.
Oh, true, I guess.
It's you that's the master of pedantry here. Are we not getting into the technically correct verbiage? All right then.
That's just quintessential support gameplay right there.
How's it going?
Remember Enduro just standing next to each other and moaning, you're like, yeah, wave stays good.
What's
yeah,
up,
for me,
man?
wave stays good. Yeah,
right,
solid. You know, I'll take it. It's fine. No, Duro with the.
Wait, can't Vampire build stacks hitting Duro?
Only when Gala's nearby.
Yeah,
so he needs Gala to get nearby. As we see Chovy getting caught in the mid lane, Tibbers coming down. No follow-up CC onto Chovy, means that he can just flash away. Yeah,
but it does mean though that when Honkyu gets his ulti back up later on, Flash, Tibbers, going to be something scary for Chovy to have to navigate. Getting that level advantage was a nice touch there from JDG, knowing that they had that small window of opportunity to make the play happen. Trade flashes. Small advantage gain for JDG overall. As the junglers continue their clear. Duro, ooh, nice combo. Bubble doesn't connect.
Gala has to use the barrier there to survive through it.
Ooh, that's the biggest loss of them all, really.
As opposed to the first 2 games.
Yeah, no, that one was for sure. Probably that one I felt the most.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah, relatively slow early game between the two teams. Slight gold lead for JDG, but once again, Ginger, apart from that gank in mid, hasn't been able to have as much impact for JDG as they would like. It's a bot side scuttle spawn. Ginger goes in, Bramble Smash back. Both of them have that upgraded smite. So
this is contestable.
Honkyu, it is contestable, as you say, is going to force Gen.G away, and because of that, Ginger will get the level 6, and I think Gen.G might have to give up the first Drake of the game.
Ooh, I don't know about that. That wave still needs to be caught in mid lane. Chovy's got the push. The bot wave needs to be dealt with still. Canyon not level 6 just... Oh, wow, okay, we're
going out from a long way away. Ruler and Duro might have to flash the cleanse out from Ruler immediately, but look at the damage onto him. Good Aqua Prism landing onto Duro. Canyon stopping his back means that JDG won't go any further. Okay,
so Ginger using his ult very early means he won't have it for the fight, but Canyon's not farming anything right now. He's still half a level off. Okay. Okay. All right, this looks like this is going to be Dragon for JDG. I think this is their first Dragon of the series.
I think so too.
Yeah. Right now, this is not looking like a 23-minute and 7-7 victory for Gen.G. Right now.
We're 7 minutes in. It's the second Drake fight.
Yeah.
Every time it's been the second Drake fight.
Yeah, no, you're right. But look at this, a 700 gold lead. Now, some of you at home, if you've just tuned in, you might be wondering, wow, I feel like they're being a little bit condescending. You know, like, and the truth is, Gen.G, if you've only just tuned in, they won a 23-minute game, and then they won a 24-minute game. So, honestly, we're kind of just hoping for the best for JDG, that they can show us something as we get closer to the mid-game, because Gen.G have been nothing but a force in this series.
And you have to remember, like, JDG have kept one of their players from last year. It's Xiaoxu. Ginger and Honkyu came over from CFO. Gala and Vampire have joined the lineup. Vampire, a rookie to the international stage, alongside Xiaoxu. So for them to even be able to butt heads against Gen.G, even to be able to get second place in the LPL, incredibly impressive. Tabi has led them really well as the Grim Deliverance coming down with Paranoia there for the chase. Cultivation of War, that passive on Xiaoxu will bring him back to life. Gen.G, though, still looking to take him down. The curtains open on Honkyu, and they close immediately as Chovy secures the kill. Meanwhile, on the top side, Xiaoxu's got a fall as well. And Gen.G roaring to life in game 3.
And just like that, the gold swings. Gen.G find plays across the rift. They make magic happen in mid lane. They find a nice gank in top. Ginger was too far away to help this top laner out. And even though Xiaoxu, he actually came so close to getting a kill back onto Keen, he just didn't quite have the damage. Ginger, though, I think he was... Nah, he's not going to be able to hand this over. The TP will come through. Ginger, they'll get a kill on bot.
It's going to go down. Vampire takes the kill, though. Not really what you want. Gala has to use the barrier.
Yeah, he had to there. The tower, I think, had stacked too many times and was threatening the kill. It's unfortunate for JDG that the kill does go over to Vampire. They would have loved to funnel that gold into Gala, get him towards that Trinity Force.
Either way, Rula does have flash, uses it away from the activism. Gala Valkyrieing forward, flashing himself as well. And with the phosphorus bomb and the Gatling gun, Gala rattles through Rula.
Okay, nicely done there by the bot lane of JDG. Really coming to life here in game 3. Rula expecting the bot lane to have gone back to base, ends up getting punished. He thinks that he's safe because he has his flash, but he ends up paying for it. Vampire, he's fine. He's not going to be interrupted by Duro. But a nice advantage gained. And JDG definitely swinging back here in game 3.
Yeah, 1,000 gold lead now for JDG. 800 of that sitting on Garland, one of the most experienced players on the roster. That NSI title back on RNG. Picked up a couple of them, actually, in consecutive years. And, him against Rula is one of those matchups that we've actually seen quite a lot over the years. Rula does have the advantage of it. When he was playing on JDG, it was Gala sitting on LNG. And JDG at those times in 2023 were the dominant team, not only in the region, but in the world. Only just getting stopped by T1 on their way to Golden Road.
And JDG have gone through so many iterations of their coaching staff and their roster to finally land on a roster that was, I think, a little bit surprising to many for it to find success this quickly, for them to be doing so well domestically, getting that 2nd seed from the LPL. Now, though, they're looking to get a game over Gen G as they set their sights on Keen.
Nature's Grass coming out. King will be locked up by, but look at how low Xiaoxiu is. Can he really step forward any further? Goes in with a Grim Deliverance, but might just be taken out by the Paranoia. Canyon fears him back. Keen trying to escape Junja's clutches and does so. Gen G pounce on an engage from JDG.
Yeah, I liked what I've been seeing from Xiaoxiu so far in this series, but that play right there, I mean, he basically just lost all of his HP without trading any of it back against Keen. I have to imagine that he had a lot on cooldown when the gank was happening, and it meant that between the two of them, they just didn't have the damage to find that kill. Gen G turn it back, they find a kill of their own. Now Canyon on Nocturne already in a fantastic position with that first item completed. Keen now, we look back at this replay, the ulti comes through. Yeah, Xiaoxiu used a lot of his skills right at the start. He's just walking at him, trying to land those autos. He then finally blocks the Q, gets a bit of healing back, drops the ulti, but at this point, Keen has already been able to create enough space that there's little to no option. So close to blocking the passive. If it hadn't been for the fear, he would have been in some serious... maybe there was room for outplay.
Could you hear all of the ghosts of top laners passes fighting in that replay as well?
I think I tuned that out.
I just heard, wow, 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 wow. There's tons of fighting happening at top lane, but yeah, Canyon 2-0 now on this Nocturne, as you say, Betty. Still a pretty even game between the two teams. 30 seconds on the next Drake, though, and this is where the games have been exploding in Gen G's favor. You can see Duro and Canyon working together in that bot side river to get control. Going to get the knock up onto Junja here just to try and force him out. With Gala and Vampire able to move first out of bot, Rula having to catch the wave under tower. Duro and Canyon back away. Just
a really subtle thing there that Chovy did. He denied an entire wave from Honkyu underneath his tower. Honkyu didn't want to expend the stun to last hit some of those melee minions. So as a result of that, Chovy actually threw down the root that if Honkyu had approached too closely, it would have just cost him his life. So an entire wave completely denied. And Chovy, like, these are the small things that Chovy does to build up a 1v1 lead against his lane opponents.
1,000 gold ahead, Betty.
Yeah.
1,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he's secured 3 plates in mid lane. Yeah. He's gotten a kill. And, I mean, he's got 16 CS ahead. So he's in a fantastic position right now.
Basically matching the lead that Gala's had. Chovy, once again, continues to be one of the best players, if not the best player in the world this year. Let's see. CSD at 14, usually something everyone talks about. You're Chovying. People are getting more farm these days with, you know, more minions available on the map, but Chovy continues to impress over in the LCK.
He absolutely does. And game 1, he did get solo killed, but it didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. His Twisted Fate, he was able to bounce back beautifully. And so far in this series, I would say he's been very clean, doing what he often does, just dominating his lane opponent. And Honkyu has done a really valiant job of putting up a good fight. Very aware of an engage. Ooh, nice interrupt on the back there from Keen. When we talk about best players, that I think like Keen is kind of the player that coming into this tournament, people are looking at like, I think he is the best player in the world right now. This series, though, not been his best, I will admit. Maybe just a start to the tournament. Like, that doesn't mean that he's had... he's definitely had some solid plays, but, I mean, Xiaoxiu getting the solo kill in the previous game as well. This series very much feels like it's largely been driven by Canyon and Chovy. I mean, with
Ruler to a degree as well.
I mean, it's one of those things as well you don't appreciate. We talked a lot about it, but Duro, like, you're seeing it now. You just look at the minimap, there's 2 wards every time, enemy jungle, every time. Duro is so good at getting that deep vision. He is
really
just, he's super, super consistent at it. He's always tracking where the enemy jungle is, and it makes Canyon's life just so much easier when he knows exactly what the enemy jungler is up to. So credit to Duro. Like, he doesn't necessarily make the flashiest plays. He had that blast cone play, of course, in the Java one, which was always entertaining to watch. But yeah, his vision control is absolutely immaculate. Makes it much harder to just play the game.
Really does. For JDG, though, they've escaped the second dragon trap that has been laid in the last couple of games.
The goal difference isn't that... It's all pretty much on Chovy.
Yeah.
So now, if you kill Chovy...
I mean, Gala's 1,000 gold ahead as well.
Yes, he is.
You can compare Keen ahead of Xiaoshu and Gala ahead of Ruler, and then Chovy is the guy that kind of sits in that.
But when we look at the Coinbase gold ground, you can see that is where the gold lead is for JDG right now, and that is the player that we're watching. This bot lane can step up and potentially make magic happen. Remember, 2307 is the number for Gen G if they want to break that record.
I feel like we've walked away from that.
We may have, but again, Gen G, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, if they manage to win the game,
I'm going to be honest with you, Medic. When 1647 happened, the game state was not in a position, and I thought 1647 was going to happen.
That's very true. That is very true. JDG looking up towards the top side. The Rift Herald helped out a lot with that 1647. Here, looks like JDG are going to be able to secure it. All the neutrals, apart from the Grubs, going over to them. While this is happening, Honku is getting forced away from the bot lane tower. Gold being given over to Chovy once again, alongside Canyon. It's going to be almost a 2K lead for Chovy when this is complete.
That is a juicy bit of gold that has just been injected. TP committed top side. It feels like JDG want to make the cross map.
Grim Deliverance going in. Keen flashing, dashing underneath the tower. Honku on his way across. Keen trying to clear out the way. Public execution goes wide as Ginger goes in with a twisted advance. And down goes Keen. JDG collapse on the top side of the map. Meanwhile, Gen G continue to push through bot.
I think they need to use this Herald top now to get some momentum back. They're getting a ton of plays in the bottom lane. Bubble.
Great bubble out of Vampire. Uses the heal for the extra movement speed, but can't really follow up any further on it.
I really want to see this bot tower, though. Like, I feel... Oh, my God, they're just going to get it. Like, look at the gold that's being injected into this duo right now. Chovy, how much is he going to pick up? Well, okay, 85. But collectively, across the tower, they got a lot. Yeah, he's got a 2.1k gold lead. Does he have enough to just finish an item?
Let's see, he's got a Codex. He goes back.
And yes, he does. Horizon Focus just going to be finished. Okay, so he's a full item up over his lane opponent. We'll look back at this top lane dive. A little to break down here, really. They force the flash out early. He's got very few options. Keen can't do much to outplay this, really. And I think that Gen G do the correct call. They just continue pushing. There's no one that can answer them, really. And so another tower secured. That mid tower is getting very low. Chovy going to last hit it. Another tower secured. I mean, Chovy is just so wealthy right now.
Absolutely monstrous. Next Drake up in 40 seconds time. JDG can still hang their hopes on an Infernal Soul.
Yeah, this is an exciting one because, I mean, double Trinity Force completed for JDG. Of course, Chovy is the biggest difference maker. And again, we come back to that question. How do you get onto Chovy? JDG don't have the easiest engage tool. They've got good disengage. They've got great zone control. Nami plus Maokai. You can occupy a lot of space, but can you get onto the threats? That's the big question.
Honku can flash Tibbers. Meanwhile, on the top side, see the public execution. Grim Deliverance exchanged between Keen and Xiaoshu. Dreaded Return not going to hit onto Keen, who is able to walk away. Does have the TP, trying to get away from Xiaoshu right now as Ginger's forced away from the Dragon Pit. Teleport out from Keen. Xiaoshu has a TP of his own. Will want to go back to base first, though. If they are going to try and contest this, we'll see if he goes for it. JDG fronting up. Nature's Grass coming out. Ginger puts the Rift Herald down as well. The Nature's Grass route only lands onto one. Canyon with the smite there, managing to secure the Drake. Meanwhile, Juro looking for that back line. Can't get in far enough, but Genji still very healthy. Xiaoshu with the flank position. Juro with the knockup, trying to headbutt him away from Ruler. Chovy in the middle of the pit now as Gala begins to open up. Chovy has the flash. Gala, flash Valkyrie, gets the kill. They'll chase Ruler out. He flashes as well. Keen's now joined the fray. Ginger flashes away. Canyon looking to kill off Tibbers here with Keen, but can they extricate themselves from this situation? Keen doesn't have the public execution. The curtain's open. 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shot wide. Gala kills Keen. Vampire flashes away and survives. JDG win the fight.
For the first time this series, JDG get a winning team fight against Gen G. A lot of it needs to be thanked by Xiaoshu. by forcing Keen back to base that early on, by getting him to TP, it made it so much harder for him to get involved in the fight. That meant that JDG had the numbers advantage coming into this Dragon fight, and Gala did exactly what he needed to do. He set his sights on Chovy, he looked to remove him from the fight, and he succeeded beautifully. So the ultimate comes out early from the Maokai. While the Dragon gets secured, they turn their attention on Aduro, but look at this TP from behind. Xiaoshu comes in from the flank. JDG have lost a lot of HP, but with the arrival of their top laner, now the fight becomes a lot more playable. They've got Tibbers in there for the extra assist. Gala ignores the Nocturne, fully sends it onto Chovy. They force the flash out from Ruler, and Ginger's just barely able to escape with his life as well. Keen finally arrives to the fight, but it's too little too late. JDG, they win a big team fight.
It's so close, though. A couple of those curtain calls hitting in the end would have been enough, but what a fight. Like,
I don't know what we bleeped.
Nor do I, but I don't think it was presentable on broadcast. JDG with a 1,000 gold lead. Importantly, they did lose the Drake in that fight, so they are still 2 away from getting sold. Chovy still 2K ahead of Honkyu on this way. But JDG have shown us that they can isolate Chovy, take him out in these fights, and Gala so big on this Corki right now.
Look at all the Merc treads that are being bought. So Honkyu's like, you know what, Void Staff, that's what I need. Either a Crypt Bloom or a Void Staff. We need that magic penetration. Another tower's gonna fall though. That gold difference not significant enough that JDG has a strong foothold. The gold is largely scattered, and it's ultimately become a battle of Gala versus Chovy right now, with the single pieces being that potential difference maker. Can Keen land an ulti onto Gala? Can Canyon knock out the lights long enough to make it hard for Gala to find the fight? Can Chovy navigate his way around this CC? And with a target on his head, multiple members are going to be eyeing him up to take him out of the fight as quickly as they can. So these fights are going to be exciting. This feels like the closest game we've had so far in this series.
Ready. The other 2 games have ended within 4 minutes of this moment.
That is absolutely correct, Medic.
It is entirely defined as the closest game we have had so far in this best of 5. JDG trying to fight back, trying to prove that Genji are not as infallible as they've been made out to be.
I mean, yeah, they only lost 2 games so far this year. So for JDG to add another to the record would be a huge achievement for them, which is a crazy thing to say. But all right, let's think about this. A Dragon in a minute and a half. That's likely the next main objective. Both teams want to get as much gold as they can. Honkyu, have you finished your second item? That would be huge if you have. Let's see, he's going to go back to base now.
Ginger does have the Bloodletters cursed for a little bit of that magic reduction.
A little bit off from the Crypt Blue. Bit of a shame for him.
They just
throwing this out early.
Ginger for Duro and Ruler. Duro there with the Unsealed Spellbook takes the cleanse and manages to...
I don't know if I like this, though. You've got Dragon in a minute. Is Maokai's ulti low enough cooldown that it's going to be fine?
I want to say it's like 80 seconds away, but that's very much a high pop. Like, oh, it's 50 seconds away, so it will be back up in time for the
fair
Drake.
Enough. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Observer's helping us out with that. So fair enough. Yeah, completely valid play. They get the cleanse up from Duro, I guess. They would have preferred Ruler's cleanse, I'm sure. But his flash is going to be up as well. Looks like a bunch of the flashes. Actually, maybe Gala's won't be up in time. Either way, we'll see as we get closer as JDG just clearing out the vision.
Yeah, Genji going to have all their flashes for this next
Honkyu
fight.
catching that wave on the top side. I imagine maybe one more wave will be enough if he can get it. It's such a nice spike to have ahead of this fight. Duro, though. Duro
going in, looking for the engage here onto Vampire with the paranoia there for this follow-up. And the damage from Chovy enough. Spiraling despair for Junja. And the severing bolt brings lightning down from the sky. The follow-up from Keen onto Gala. No escape for him. And once again, it's a fight around a dragon spawn that spells the doom of JDG.
But it's the Baron that they'll set their sights on. Genji, they catch you in the setup. No flash available on Gala. No ulti available for Junja. Just as you think JDG have got a foothold on this game, an opportunity, Keen is going to take it away from them.
Chasing down Honkyu as well, who will get the stun, but Genji can now turn their attention to Xiaoshu, who was starting up the Infernal Drake. They don't want to give anything over to JDG. Xiaoshu still has that flash, has the Grim Deliverance. TP coming in. as Chovy's going to join the play. Keen diving on towards the Drake there as Baron secured for Gen G, and JDG forced to walk away from the Dragon. No soul point for them. Gen G are taking everything.
Here comes the Maokai, the ulti is available.
Nature's Grasp in, looking to catch onto Chovy, but blocked by Keen so well. And here comes Chovy's damage to the fore once again. The spiraling despair on Ginger is matched only by the despair for JDG. They thought they could take a fight, but Gen G are just better.
Just like that, all of the hope is stripped away from JDG. Gen G in devastating fashion get a fight, get the Baron, get the Dragon, and then win another fight. Ginger went back to base after his death, obviously, and then comes back out and dies again. Absolute devastation for JDG as Gen G take a firm foothold here in Game 3 and are looking to close this series out in a 3-0 fashion.
Have another look at this. This is the catch onto Vampire.
I
just
really
stepped
thought
up
this
for vision.
play was deep. I thought it was way too deep. I thought they were going to get punished. But they have enough damage. They know that there's no flash available. Only just now is the flash coming up for Vampire. And then the long-range damage. And then the commitment from Keen as well. Beautifully done. Great awareness of how much damage output you have. They get 3 quick kills and they're looking for more.
Spiraling Spare once again onto Vampire. Good tide away from him though. They've already caught out Chovy. Canyon going forward. Dura trying to get the knockback. Just trying to disengage here for Gen G. Garner joining from the side. Public Execution flashed away from. He has to Valkyrie to the safety of his team. Ginger going a long way away with a twisted advance of Canyon. But Keen's going to try and chase him out. Dura with a good knock-up. And now Canyon's still surviving. JDG, they've been pulled all around the map and they just can't find the kills they want. They'll get Keen in the end. But they really wanted more out of that play.
They absolutely did. JDG, hey, at the very least, you find 2 kills.
Yeah,
one of those onto Chovy. You'll take what you can get at this point in the game as Rula looks to get something for himself. That tower, it should end up falling, I think, thanks to the Baron buff. Has he overstayed his welcome, though? He has the cleanse. Yeah, he's going to be able to move speed his way to safety. Okay, so JDG still got some fight left in them, looking for what plays they can get.
And Ginger is so squishy. Played his Seal Caps and a Negatron Cloak, that is not enough. He's got some health from the Bloodletter's Curse and from the Leandries, but with the curtains opening, Ruler finds his mark twice, and the 4th is enough to get the kill. 4th shot from Ruler, and the 3rd death for Ginger here on the tree.
I mean, the only good news for JDG is there's nothing that Gen G can get off the back of it. There's no objectives left for them to play for. Chovy, he's just a little overextended on the top side. He does have his team on the top half of the map, so he's feeling relatively safe. Ends up being a trade 1-for-1, but I think that JDG are happy with that trade, and then with the arrival of the Corki, it's looking pretty good, but they get the flash out from Gala, and what is a bit of a scrappy exchange. Ruler finally joins the fray. The fight becomes scattered when Xiaoshu commits his ultimate to the fight, but Ginger in a 1 versus 2 forces Canyon back, and then is reliant on Xiaoshu and Hongqiu to come and save the day. They get that kill onto Keen. A shutdown given over to Hongqiu means that he gets a nice injection of gold, but still, I mean, he's basically 2 full item, well, 1 full item behind Chovy.
Remember, like a few moments ago, we were talking about how Gala was the lead and Chovy was the lead for Gen G.
Yeah.
Ruler's now ahead in gold, Betty. Gala 3-1-3, has 30 CS lead, but because Gen G have been able to take the Baron, open up these towers, take that standing gold off the map, Ruler's now at 3 items, and Gala, he's at 3.5 as well. It's a Serpent's Fang for him to try and get through some of the shielding out of Gen G, but it is a struggle now for JDG when even their Fed carries are falling behind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that mid lane play from Gen G still just so crazy. They caught JDG completely off guard.
They caught us off guard.
We're so used to this idea that you play around the dragon, right? Yep. You kind of wait for those timings, you wait for the setup. No, but they attack you in the setup. The amount of time that was available on those flashes was so finite that they had to make that play at just the right time, and they're able to pull it off. Really impressive stuff. They continuously demonstrate why they are the favorites here at first stand. The expectation is nothing short of excellence from this roster, and so far they are displaying it. 47 seconds until the next dragon. JDG had a good foothold over the first 2, but Gen G have answered back over the following. This is kind of JDG's last chance, I would say. If they don't get a good fight here, then the game feels done and dusted. I know it may already feel done and dusted, but JDG do have one last opportunity.
I mean, you've still got a huge amount of burst, right? If you get a flash tibbers into a Corki
level
going
16.
forward, yeah.
The TP is kind of early from him. It means that shield will fall off before the dragon really kicks off. Ginger, though, getting a little too close.
Stepping forward. Onto Ginger, as you say. He will be able to walk away for now.
Oh, I mean, Ruler playing with nothing but confidence. Look at the move speed he's got.
Oh, the severing bot onto Ginger as well.
They can't approach, man. This is what my concern was at the start when we talked about draft. How do you get close to this range? Like, Chobi's not even on the same screen as you.
Gen G will start up the Drake. Again, only third of the game for either team. Ruler looking for the deadly flourishes, can't quite land them. Chobi puts the Gaze of the Abyss into the Tribush to force JDG to take the shorter path around. The Drake already down to 3,000. Nature's Grass coming out, turn off the lights. The electrician's in the house, and immediately Canyon is just able to take the Drake, then goes in. Severing Bolt landing as well as Junja's forced to run away from the fight. The spiraling despair on Xiaohu. He can't get close enough. Grim Deliverance only delivers him to his demise. Meanwhile, Gen G continue to step forward. Keen with a kill on the bot side. Gala knocked up and taken out. It's a 5-0 ace by Gen G.
It's simple perfection from Gen G. They play beautifully at arm's length. They make it impossible for JDG to close that gap. And off a single fight, they'll look to end the game.
Not the fastest best of 5 in history, but it was damn well one-sided. Gen G proving they deserve the title of champions-elect here at first stand as they sweep away JDG with a dominant 3-0.